Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating, air, restoration, and flood services for over 45 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Jacob Ayer in for Maya Trabolsi. The San Diego City Council voted today to endorse a package of state bills aimed at reforming for-profit utility companies like SDG&E. KPBS Metro reporter Andrew Bowen has more.
The 10 bills endorsed by the council are broadly aimed at making electricity more affordable and investor-owned utilities more accountable to ratepayers. One of the bills, SB 905, takes aim at the profits that utilities make off of wildfire mitigation. It would also tie executive pay to lowering electricity rates. Councilmember Sean Ela Rivera said utilities are incentivized to maximize profits above all else.
For years, I've heard from families across San Diego, especially in City Heights, Stockton, and Mount Hope, who are making impossible choices between keeping the lights on and putting food on the table. So this isn't a political statement. It's about dignity and economic survival.
I'm here today because families like mine across San Diego are being crushed by SDG&E bills. Why is it that over the years, the rich got richer and the working class, like us, started paying more?
SDG&E opposes some of the bills endorsed by the City Council. It hasn't registered a position on SB 905. The bills are awaiting final approval in the legislature and can still be amended. In the meantime, San Diego is continuing to explore the formation of a public utility. The council is set to discuss a Phase 2 public power feasibility study next week. Andrew Bowen, KPBS News.
Meanwhile, you may soon be paying more to keep the power on in your home. That's because San Diego Gas and Electric is asking the Public Utility Commission for a rate increase of more than 8%. Our media partner KGTV spoke to the owner of Shelton Cleaners in downtown. They say if the proposed rate increase were to happen, the cost will be passed on to their customers.
At this location, energy is about $6,000 a month all in, and then rent across all 4 locations is $38,000. We're trying to save money in any way we can.
SDG&E says the 8.6% rate hike is needed due to the cost of goods and services, wildfire mitigation, insurance, cybersecurity, and more.
Overnight lows very similar to the last couple of days. We're into the mid-60s. A lot of clouds overnight. That's after some rain chances that we've been seeing for today and even a few into tomorrow. I'll break down what to expect from the small rain chances to the temperatures coming up.
More than 16 million people from South Texas to central and southern Mississippi are under flood watches. Houston and other cities could see life-threatening flash floods. At least one person has already died in Texas. And as Lee Waldman reports, meteorologists warn what could be the first tropical storm of the Atlantic hurricane season is supercharging flooding in the Gulf this week.
Rivers are overflowing their banks, roadways and vehicles submerged as the Weather Prediction Center has issued a level 3 out of 4 threat of flash flooding until Thursday for parts of Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama.
All right, you got them. Now just be careful getting out.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott posting this video of a water rescue with a warning: turn around, don't drown. He's issued a disaster declaration for more than 100 counties. This comes as one woman in Bandera County, northwest of San Antonio, died Monday when her vehicle was swept into a flooded creek.
I don't know her, but I've cried multiple times. Checked Facebook. It's just so sad.
The heavy rain caused part of the roof at the Beaumont VA outpatient clinic to collapse Monday morning, according to CNN affiliate KFDM, sending water pouring into the building and forcing the facility to close temporarily.
One good thing about it is no one was injured, first of all. because a lot of them people do work very hard to help us.
In Shreveport, Louisiana, floodwaters stranded drivers and entered several buildings Monday, the Caddo Parish Sheriff's deputy told CNN. The sheriff's office says it received 52 calls for water rescues in a roughly 6-hour period. No injuries were reported. The National Hurricane Center says this system could become the Atlantic's first tropical storm of the year if it pushes offshore into the Northwest Gulf Tuesday or Wednesday. Lee Waldman, KPBS News.
The San Diego County Sheriff Department says it needs to replace its oldest jail. That's the Vista Detention Facility. North County reporter Alexander Nguyen sat down with Sheriff Kelly Martinez on why a new facility is needed.
The Vista Detention Facility is old. It was built in 1972, and as with most things from the 1970s, it's showing its age.
When we have sewage backup, for instance.
Sheriff Kelly Martinez says the facility is past its use life, and the department has spent a lot of money to keep it going, like $16 million to upgrade the wireless network.
Which has been important for our body-worn cameras and for our medical technology and things like that. So we're doing our best to keep it going.
Which is why the Sheriff's Department is holding community forums to get feedback on the future of the North County Jail. Martinez says it's an opportunity to explain the need and also to listen to stakeholders. That includes former inmates.
People with lived experience, people who've, had people who've died in custody that want to share with us their thoughts about what a facility should look like.
The department has been under scrutiny for the high number of in-custody deaths. A report released in April shows that the Vista facility is one of 2 facilities with the highest number of in-custody deaths. Martinez says that's part of the reason for building a new facility.
To have safe spaces where people can get the treatment they need, where we can give them the proper medical and mental health care that's built for this population is very important to preventing in-custody deaths.
The meeting tonight is the second community forum. The first was held in February, where community members expressed concerns about traffic and cost.
Everyone is concerned about the cost and where that money is going to come from.
The county recently allocated $3 million for the planning, design, and environmental review for a new facility. The department expects to have the master plan complete this fall. Construction could begin in 2028. Alexander Nguyen, KPBS News.
The community forum starts at 6 p.m. this evening at Encinitas Community Center. The address is listed on your screen. The Boys and Girls Club of South County is celebrating the completion of a new solar energy and storage project. KPBS reporter Elaine Alfaro says the project will bring thousands of dollars in savings to the community's youth nonprofit.
When you hear about Imperial Beach these days, more often than not, it's about the Tijuana sewage crisis that has closed beaches and fouled its air. But for one day at least, leaders were able to talk about an environmental solution. It's a new solar energy project at the Boys and Girls Club in IB. The project includes an array of solar panels and storage.
As adults, I think we're all trying to be advocates, but when you sit down and you pause and you talk to the youth of there are solutions, there are ways that we can help our environment and make them aware and have them have those critical thinking skills, it really does show that our future is bright.
Club members Ivana Fonseca and Leilani Singleton got the chance to learn more about solar energy today.
It makes me feel better that we have more energy now, like solar energy. It makes me feel better, so when I'm playing a game and the power goes off, I can just put back on the power.
The project was funded by San Diego Community Power's Community Clean Energy Grant Program. It was led by the Hammond Climate Solutions Foundation.
The solar and storage system is expected to save the club nearly $12,000 this first year. And as electricity rates continue to rise over the next 30 years, this system is expected to save the club nearly $500,000. And those are real savings that are being reinvested into the club.
For Fonseca and Singleton, the savings means more good, clean fun.
It means that I can be with my friends and have fun, and I feel protected in a way.
With solar energy panels that will power the building for years to come. Elaine Alfaro, KPBS News.
Drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy are already changing the way doctors treat diabetes and obesity. Now KPBS health reporter Heidi DeMarco says UC San Diego researchers are asking another question. Could they also help slow biological aging?
UC San Diego researchers analyzed data from more than 100 adults living with HIV who also had excess fat around their abdomens. People with HIV often experience faster biological aging, even when their virus is well controlled.
Biologically, that population appears to be on average around 5 years older. So if you were looking for a therapeutic that could potentially improve aging or have some sort of impact, that would be the starting point, right?
Half the participants received weekly semaglutide injections. The other half received a placebo. Compared with the placebo group, people taking the injections showed signs of slower biological aging. UC San Diego professor Michael Corley is lead researcher on this study.
They were living 32 weeks in a condition that was more optimal for their body in terms of kind of some of these biomarkers of aging.
Researchers found improvements in DNA markers linked to inflammation and the health of the heart, brain, liver, and kidneys. They believe the drug may help by reducing chronic inflammation and unhealthy fat around organs. Both of those conditions are linked to aging. But Corley cautions the findings do not mean semaglutide reverses aging or should be used as an anti-aging treatment.
The question is, if they went off those medications, would that snap back and then essentially they would be aging at the rate they were?
That's what Corley says still needs to be answered.
I think the big thing that we're all waiting to see is whether they actually slow the aging process in people that do not need them according to kind of how they've been originally prescribed.
He says the goal is not to help people live forever, it's to help them stay healthier longer and reduce the risk of age-related diseases. For now, Corley says the benchmark for optimal aging is still diet and exercise. Heidi DeMarco, KPBS News.
I'm Amna Nawaz. Tonight on the News Hour, what the still murky agreement between the U.S. and Iran means for oil supplies worldwide. That's coming up at 7 after Evening Edition on KPBS.
There are plenty of wildcards that could sink a final U.S.-Iran deal. Perhaps the biggest is Lebanon, where Israel launched new deadly strikes just today. Jeremy Diamond explains why the gap between the U.S. and Israel appears to be getting wider.
In so many ways, the lines have been drawn by the various parties about the way forward for this U.S.-Iran agreement and what each side is and is not willing to do. But there's still uncertainty about how the different sides will interpret the actions of the other and ultimately separating the rhetoric from actual action. And on that front, you have the Israeli statements. They will not withdraw their thousands of troops that are currently in southern Lebanon from Lebanese territory. That was said by the defense minister, by the Israeli prime minister himself. And we are also seeing on the ground that Israeli attacks in southern Lebanon are continuing, with 4 people killed in multiple Israeli strikes that took place in southern Lebanon in one town square and also on a vehicle in a neighboring village. Then you have what the Iranians are saying. The Iranians are vowing that this war, the broader regional war, will not end until the war in Lebanon ends, until, first of all, Israeli troops withdraw from southern Lebanon and until Israeli attacks in Lebanon stop as well. What we don't know yet is whether or not what Iran says is it would be a violation of the Memorandum of Understanding would lead them to carry out attacks against Israel or to, abandon this newly crafted deal with the United States. From the U.S. perspective, that one is also important as well, of course. And the U.S. is indicating that an Israeli withdrawal from southern Lebanon is not necessary. But what you do have is President Trump saying that the Israeli prime minister and by extension the Israeli government and its military must act more responsibly in Lebanon. The president even went so far as to suggest that perhaps Syria, the Syrian government, should be involved in taking care of Hezbollah in Lebanon instead of Israel, who President Trump said is taking too long and even suggested that is causing more civilian casualties than are necessary in southern Lebanon. But U.S. officials have suggested that there is latitude for Israel to carry out actions that they deem to be in their own self-defense in Lebanon. But the way in which the United States is going to define that from the way Iran is going to define that are going to be two very different things. And so we see now, as we have seen at so many different points in this negotiation between the United States and Iran, that ultimately Lebanon is a linchpin of this agreement, and it is the one over which the United States has the least control, increasingly so, it seems, as the relationship between President Trump and the Israeli Prime Minister has grown increasingly strained.
That was Jeremy Diamond with that report. President Donald Trump promised gas prices would fall like a rock once the war with Iran was over. Now, with the U.S. reaching some sort of agreement with Iran, how quickly will our gas prices return to pre-war levels? Here's Brian Abel to help give us a better understanding.
Oil prices hitting the lowest levels this week since the start of the war with Iran, after the U.S. said it reached an agreement with Tehran that would open the vital Strait of Hormuz. Yet, crude prices remain about $10 a barrel more than they were before the U.S. launched its campaign in late February. When fully open to vessels, 20% of the world's oil and liquefied natural gas supply moves through the strait, which was effectively closed as a result of the conflict, sending prices soaring. Here's what President Trump has said about them.
The gas will go down. As soon as the war's over, it'll drop like a rocket.
Experts, however, say not so fast.
The administration's talked about 40 to 50 vessels that may grow through soon. But until we start to see the backlog easing and ships transiting through, we're right where we were a couple of weeks ago.
Getting a steady flow of ships won't presumably come quickly. One, Iran laced the strait with mines, so the stuck ships full with oil will have to hug the coastline carefully to avoid them as the U.S. Navy works to clear the explosives. Two, there are far fewer empty ships nearby waiting to come through and fill up. That could take a month to fully ramp up to pre-war flow, experts say, or longer.
It's probably going to take a couple of weeks to rebuild confidence of ships going through the strait.
In Washington, Brian Abel reporting.
San Diego is one of the country's most expensive regions, and people are feeling the squeeze. In this latest from our Price of San Diego series, KPBS military and veterans reporter Andrew Dyer says even military families have to adapt.
I already had in my mind like Pacific Beach or maybe Mission Valley.
Army veteran Marjorie Jones-Bias was excited when her husband received orders to San Diego in 2022. She was familiar with San Diego but was surprised by what she found when they began house hunting.
The rent was expensive, and then we couldn't even fathom having to afford that and utilities.
The military provides housing for troops and their families by giving them a tax-free basic allowance for housing, or BAH. It varies based on a member's rank, whether they have dependents, and where in the country they're stationed. Higher cost of living areas receive higher BAH. Jones-Bias' husband is an E6 in the Navy. He's got a family, so in San Diego, he's paid about $4,000 a month in BAH. That wasn't going to be enough.
So ultimately, we decided to wait it out and to go into housing.
Base housing in San Diego is provided by Liberty Military Housing, a private company that partners with the Navy.
Being able to have a little space of your own in Southern California is a huge deal, and that's available for the families who live with us.
Philip Rizzo is the CEO of Liberty Military Housing. The company charges each service member based on their BAH rate. It manages entire neighborhoods of homes throughout the San Diego area, including in Murphy Canyon and Liberty Station. But they have limitations.
There's about 62,000 that are eligible to live in housing. We only have 17,000 homes.
Jones-Bias says for her family, living in military housing made the most sense.
That BAH covers your rent. It covers 24/7 maintenance. It covers replacement of any appliances. It covers the water. It covers the electricity. And then whenever they do renovations, of course, like replacing the floors, replacing the carpet, the doors, all of that is included within whatever is your BAH rate.
Her family lived in a Navy hotel for 5 months, waiting for a unit to open in Liberty Station. Rizzo says that's not unusual.
So we have waiting lists. They're a little more relative to where people want to live.
For some military families, the answer to expensive housing is more than an hour away in Riverside County.
We have seen a huge increase on military families moving outside of that San Diego area.
Cecilia Yakuta runs child and youth programs for the Navy in the region. Along with housing, childcare costs consistently rank among the top concerns for military families. New military child development centers have opened around San Diego over the last several years. Childcare on base can save military families thousands of dollars a month versus outside daycare.
All of our programs go under something called total family income. So we base their fees, their military payday fees, based on their total family income. And then we get subsidized later after the fact.
But there's still a waiting list. Euclid says military families can receive fee assistance if they have to seek care at an outside facility.
So our wait list has dropped tremendously, and not only because of the new facilities, but because of our fee assistance program as well. Before, a few years back, maybe our wait list could have been around 4,000 kids here in Metro San Diego. Now we're down to a few hundred kids.
Jones-Bias says without the fee assistance program, her family wouldn't have been able to afford childcare. There's been other adjustments too.
So yes, we do a lot of planning, and I think that since living in California, we've actually started to read our ad papers. So we use coupons, we see when there's a deal on different juices, or if meat is on sale.
She says life here is worth the extra work.
We really love it here. I think the cost of living is worth the things that you receive. It's just not something that's affordable for a military family.
Andrew Dyer, KPBS News.
This story is part of our Price of San Diego series. We have more cost of living stories about everything from rising gas prices to saving money on live sports events. Check it out online at kpbs.org/Price of San Diego. Several coastal flood warnings are in effect for parts of Southern California. This as king tides battering our coasts peaked overnight. Nicole Comstock reports from Long Beach.
Putting in some last-minute work to reinforce these sand berms along the peninsula in Long Beach. Work crews are getting this neighborhood ready for powerful and potentially dangerous king tides. The higher than usual long-period waves typically happen during a new or full moon as gravity pulls the ocean back and forth.
Like once or twice a year, I think this happens where they just start dumping sand but I haven't seen this. This is new.
Neighbors tell us these wooden boards were just installed today because the tide was so high last night, it crested the berms.
No, this is brand new. The berm gets washed away, usually in pieces over a few days, but the chaps are out next morning kind of earlier than you really like them to be, but they come and rebuild it.
So it's hidden all along the coast.
A coastal flood advisory is up for LA County beaches through tomorrow. People are urged to stay out of the water as dangerous rip currents can pull swimmers out to sea and wash people off beaches. Long Beach and Malibu could see some minor coastal flooding during the peak of the event from 8 to midnight. Robert Smith says it can be unsettling to watch.
Well, look, I think it's breaching the berm. It's going to come over. And then we both said, oh my God, it's going to come over, not knowing if it would have a very bad effect.
Well, we're on a little bit of a temperature roller coaster. It's not dramatic rises and drops, but we're bouncing between above and below our historical average where we should be this time of year. We've seen a couple of rain chances throughout the day and maybe a few more Wednesday, but overall much drier. And I mean, not everybody even sees rain when we do have the rain chances. Our marine layer, it's ebbing and flowing, deepening the rest of this week into the weekend, and then we see it back off a little bit more next week. 76 tonight in Borrego Springs, 62 for El Cajon, and we're in the mid 60s along the coast from Oceanside to San Diego there. As we look ahead towards tomorrow, well, looks familiar, right? Still 104 in Borrego Springs. We're in the 80s in Escondido and Ramona, but 73 along the coast, San Diego up towards Oceanside, and even Chula Vista as well. Taking a look at future radar, you can see by the time we get to even mid-evening, I mean, the rain chances are pretty much out of here. We could see a few more sprinkles as we head through the day tomorrow, but overall, I mean, not a lot going on here, and it's on the slopes of the mountains. Not everybody even sees the rain chances when we do have them on future radar here. So moving forward to our 5-day outlook, take a look at the coast. I mean, the story is the same as it's been. We're seeing a few degrees here and there, but mild conditions, that June feel along the coast, but that June gloom as well with the marine layer. Further inland, we go from the 80s Wednesday, Thursday. We drop back into the 70s Friday, and we stay there through the weekend. A few degrees difference from Saturday to Sunday. Looking at our mountain outlook, 70s to 60s and back to low 70s. There's that roller coaster I'm talking about. Yes, it's about 3-4 degrees here and there, but little differences each day. Our desert outlook, I mean, we get out of the triple digits by the time we get to Friday, something to enjoy. Now, does 99 feel that different from 100? Not really, but we'll take what we can get, and we stay in the 90s through the weekend as well. For KPBS News, I'm AccuWeather's Anna Azalian.
Have you bought Dad a gift for Father's Day yet? don't worry, there's still time. When it comes to gift buying this year, the trends show people are spending a lot. Jen Sullivan breaks down Father's Day spending trends and gift ideas for those last-minute shoppers.
When it comes to shopping for Father's Day, people are splurging on Dad. Total spending is expected to hit a record $27.9 billion this year, according to the National Retail Federation, with people spending an average of just under $227 per person. That's about $27 more than last year.
People really want to celebrate the important people in their lives.
We asked Mark Matthews with the National Retail Federation if people are spending more or if gifts are just more expensive this year.
We are seeing a little bit more goods inflation than we saw last year, but we're talking about 1 or 2%.
He says retail sales have gone up 8 months in a row and that shoppers are just spending more. So what are people buying, Dad, this year? The NRF found the number one item people are buying, a greeting card, followed by clothes and a special outing.
We've got a lot going on this summer. The World Cup is here, so there's lots of opportunities for those special outings that people want to take their dads on.
Many people surveyed also said they plan on buying Dad personal care products like skincare and hygiene items.
This year, we are spending $350 million more on personal care products than on home improvement and gardening items.
No matter what you buy, Dad, this year, quality time is always a great gift, and time together is priceless. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jacob Ayer. Have a wonderful evening.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating, air, restoration, and flood services for over 45 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marcos Shiley, and by the following: and by viewers like you. Thank you.